Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is how Scalar Wave is destroying our food and our water, and also an update on Russia and the dollar. First of all, kind of funny, you recall we talked about this, how there was a movie that came out that was talking about how in the future, in 2022, people would be eating Soylent Green, which was people. Well, this was sent to me in an email. I thought it was funny. So they've actually come out with a green drink, and they're calling it Soylent. Soylent drink milk chocolate. It's really real. Soylent drink mint chocolate, and it is 39 essential nutrients, and it's all based upon plants, not humans. So anyway, we thought that was funny. All right, let's get on to the more serious stuff. This is an interactive map that was sent to me. By the way, thank you for your emails. Your emails send me a lot of information. I do appreciate. By the way, if you do send a video, please tell me a time code to go and listen to it, and tell me what I'm going to listen to, because I may have already listened to it. Just a quick little word, and it could start at time code such and such, and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, this is a list of like 120 different food places having to do with food distribution, food production that have all been destroyed in the last 12 months. Now, I have not researched it, but I think I can pretty much guess. So I'll put that guess on you. So how many people do you think have been arrested out of those 120 different places that have been destroyed? Thousands of chickens and turkeys and cows and all sorts of food. How many people do you think have been arrested? Well, again, I haven't researched it, but my guess is probably none. Why? It's Scalar Wave. We've talked about that. This is the most updated sealed indictments map. This shows you where these people are being, in the future, will be arrested. Now, I thought it was interesting because if you look here on this map, you see most of the food sources are being destroyed in the east. But if you look out here, that's not where most of the child trafficking and things like that is going on. Most of that is going along, surely not, on our southern border. You mean people come into America would do something wrong? Surely not. Now, the next thing I want you to notice is this. The date is July 31st. And then on this article, it's also July the 31st. Now, the reason that's interesting is because two different things, the exact opposites, are happening on the same day. Fox News headline, California battles worst wildfire this year as flames scorch more than 5,100 acres. So, California is being burned up. The article goes on to say chaotic weather in Northern California, and that they're bracing for thunderstorms, mainly hot, windy conditions that actually creates more of a fire, helps the fire to spread. The fuel beds are so dry that they can erupt just from that lightning. Well, okay, we know for centuries now, probably going back thousands of years, lightning can cause fires. We know that. But what a lot of people don't know is that scalar wave can also cause fires. There's been people that say, well, that these blue sparks just came out of nowhere and started the fire right in front of them. But, of course, you never hear that. These thunder cells come with gusty, erratic winds that can blow fire in every direction. Yeah, well, what starts those gusty, erratic winds? Well, again, it's scalar wave. Scalar wave can make large portions of the atmosphere super hot or super cold. It can move around thunder cells. It can make one place rain and another place not rain. It can make one place snow and another place not snow. All of it is weather control. It says the blaze torched trees all along the California Highway 96, and the scorched remains of the pickup truck sat in a lane of the highway. Thick smoke covered the area, and the flames burned through hillsides and inside of homes. And it was sparked by dry lightning. Okay, again, I understand. It probably did start by lightning, but I don't think all of it started by lightning. But this is July the 31st, okay? So in western United States, they're having a great big drought. They're having unseasonably long, hot summers. fires, droughts. Now, this is July 31st. Now look at this July 31st. Look, this is Fox News, July 31st. Here, look, Fox News, July 31st. Here, the next one is Fox News, July 31st. Only this is Kentucky flooding. Death toll rises to 26, with more bodies expected to be found for weeks. Okay, so how do you explain the east side of America is getting a flood, the west side of America is getting a heat wave, fires, and no water? That's not natural. I'm telling you. See, Scalar Wave is one of the most wonderful weapons because you can't detect where it came from, who did it. It may be that the good guys don't know where the scalar waves are even located. The scalar wave machine, this weather machine, they might not even know. The article goes on to say, catastrophic flooding in eastern Kentucky, you've probably been hearing about it, has risen to 26 people. I know several additional bodies, and we know it's going to grow with the water level. We're going to be finding bodies for weeks, many of them swept hundreds and yards, maybe a quarter mile from where they were lost. Thus far, just those 4 children, I fear that I will find at least a couple more as well. Some families have lost almost everyone in their household. So, here's the point. Okay, so July 31st, Fox News. One place it's wildfires, it's no rain. The other place it's flooding. Not natural. Okay, so what's really going on? What's really going on is these are the Moloch and Baal worshippers. That 1%, about 1 million people, so says Benjamin Fulford, about 1 million people that own and control some 99% of all of the world. They own and control the governments, the banking system, the refineries, the oil. They own and control. As a matter of fact, these are the people. Well, I can't prove that, but I suspect. Okay, so bad guys. What are they doing? Well, remember they told Benjamin Fulford that we have ruled this planet for thousands of years and we'll destroy it rather than give it up. And I've told you that Dmitri Duduman was told that the fall of America would start with an internal revolution. Also, reportedly, the Looking Glass was able to tell them that there is something really, really bad coming. Now, they weren't releasing what it was, but I suspect it's the internal revolution. I think that they have a time machine. I think that they know that an internal revolution is coming. I think they know that the good guys, the white hats, are about to kick them out of power and about to remove their power from the financial system of the globe and set up a new financial system on the globe and kick them out. And the Looking Glass said that they knew it was coming, but they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop this. Most things they can stop, but they couldn't stop this. Well, this is them saying, look, if you keep coming after us, if you don't let us rule you, if you don't let us have control of your finances, your government, of your medical, of your pharmaceuticals, if you don't let us control you, if you don't let us kill you, if you don't let us do what we want to do, we're going to destroy the planet. And, of course, that's part of what they're doing. All of this is because the good guys are fighting back. That's what I believe. Now, can I prove that? No. If I could prove that, if I was in a position to prove that, I probably wouldn't live long. But based upon everything I know, I believe that to be the truth. So it says the eastern half of the United States is flooding. The western half can't get any water. The eastern half is having people killed because of the flooding. The western half is going to have people killed because they don't have water, don't have electricity. The number one lake reservoir in America is Lake Mead. It's the largest reservoir and is located just southeast of Las Vegas, and it was formed by the world-famous Hoover Dam. It usually is filled to around 40% of its capacity, but now, well, let's look. I looked it up. So the picture to your left, if you're listening to this, you really should try to watch it. The picture to your left is what Lake Mead looked like in 2000. Lots of water. 2001, very little water. Now, 2002, very, very, very little water. It's even worse. So I pulled up a chart. This shows what the water levels were in 2020, 2021, and 2022. If it continues, okay, if you look at the chart, if this continues like this downward trend, by November, Lake Mead, the largest water reservoir in America, won't have any water. So I also did some other research. So the picture to the left is 1983, and that's the way Lake Mead is supposed to look when it's full. The picture to the right is 2007, and this is probably more like a typical level. Now, this is a picture that they didn't have a date on it, but apparently it was pretty recent. However, I went back to a picture that was taken right after the thing was built, so before any big water started being stored in it. Now, I couldn't show you the picture because it had all kinds of copyrights on it. So I drew a little circle here to show you this actually comes down to here when it is near empty, which shows you that this is Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in America, and it is near empty right now. It's near empty. Okay, so what happens when it empties? Well, it provides water for, I don't know, roughly 25-30% of western United States. It also provides electricity for a large portion of the western United States. So if Lake Mead dries up, big problem. Well, is Lake Mead the only one in trouble? No, it's not. Lake Powell. Lake Powell is the country's second largest reservoir, and it is found where Utah and Arizona meet. Lake Powell was created by the Glen Canyon Dam. This is what it looks like when it's normal, Lake Powell. This is what it looks like recently. Now, let me compare the pictures here. So I'll go back. So this is normal. This is today. So my point being, Lake Powell and Lake Mead, the two largest reservoirs that provide most of the water and the electricity for the western United States, are almost out of water. I don't think that's an accident. I think that's Scalar Wave. They are trying to kill us. This is basically them sending a message to the good guys saying, don't take our finances away. Don't take us, stop arresting us. Stop putting us on trial. Stop trying to clean up America. Stop it. If you don't stop it, this is what we're going to continue to do. So the point is, what the Moloch and Baal worshipers are really doing is they're taking our food and our water away from us. Just like they told Benjamin Fulford, we've ruled this planet for thousands of years, and we'll destroy it rather than give it up. So they are destroying it. They're destroying America because the good guys are trying to kick them out. Trying to kick them out of rulership of our government, rulership over our banking system, and just about everything. They control, so it's roughly 1 million people, so says Benjamin Fulford, that rule the planet, that own 99% of the world. So this is Lake Powell, the way it's supposed to look, normal. This is the way it looks recently. So they're flooding us, they're drowning us, and they're also taking our electricity and our water. They are serious. This is what's really, really, really going on. Now, as far as the machine, I shouldn't say the word again. The machine, I'll call it this, the Switzerland machine. This is causing weather too. Different. I have to choose my words really carefully. Yes, we did get a strike, and so we won't be posting on YT for about 90 days. So anybody want to continue watching this, they're going to have to find alternative means to do it. Anyway, so let me go on here. This is Stillness in the Storm website. It says the Federal Reserve details digital dollar plans. Okay, we've talked about this. Talked about this before. We've actually been talking about this coming for a long time. But it says the Federal Reserve is rolling out plans to develop a new digital dollar. We've been hearing about that too, which is going to be decreasing the value of the U.S. dollar. We also know from the prophecies that the dollar is going to fall 30%, then down to 50%, down to 66%, and eventually be worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. We know that. We know that from the prophecies. It goes on to say a central bank digital currency point to the idea that the Fed will have the power to freeze accounts. Now, that's the scary part. Power to freeze accounts on an arbitrary basis. Well, now, if we put the money in our account, why would they freeze it? maybe because he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, no man might buy or sell, no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the number of the beast, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So if the feds give you a financial system that they can turn off, and they want you to take the mark of the beast, bend the knee, fall down, worship their man on the Antichrist on the throne of God. If you don't, then they cut you off from your own money. Now, if you think it was hard not to wear the mask, you ain't seen nothing yet. It goes on to say Chinese yuan, the euro, and others, Russia and China, have tried to displace the U.S. dollar as the world's primary currency. It's in progress. We've talked about it. It started August 24th of 2021. As soon as they started selling oil in some other currency other than the dollar is now in process of dying. Now, what do you do? Well, now somebody sent me an email. Let me talk about that for a second. I think that, first of all, I don't know exactly what to do. Let me just say that. I would suggest that for the next week you go around almost constantly praying, Lord, what do I need to do? Only you know the future. Only you know what I need to do to be prepared for those things coming. Obviously, you got to have Jesus in your heart first. You got to stop sinning. You got to live a clean life. But I would suggest that you should have water, clean water. I mean, remember the threes, okay? You can't go more than 3 minutes without clean air. So you need to have some kind of a mask. Filter out volcanic ash or filter out some kind of radioactive dust. Who knows? I think a person should have a filter. No, we don't offer those. Next thing is you should have clean water. The most people die in emergencies from drinking contaminated water. That's the number one killer in emergencies. Having a Berkey water filter, which we just ordered some more. So we do have them in stock at prophecyclub.com. Having that so that you can scoop water out of your gutter or off of your roof and drink it and not get sick is extremely important. And I'll just say it this way. If you don't have a Berkey and you're going to take a chance and you're going to drink some water you're not certain, or you're going to have your daughter or your son or your wife drink some water that might be contaminated, if they get sick, you're not going to be able to live with that. I'm just telling you. I mean, it's not worth a chance. It is not worth a chance. You go to prophecyclub.com, click on Berkeys, go in there and get yourself a Berkey. Get yourself some extra filters. Next thing is I would recommend you go to josephkitchen.com, because most of your long-term storage feed, there's a freeze-dried food and things like that. This long-term storage feed, most of it is $9,000 or $10,000 to feed one person for 1 year. At Joseph's Kitchen, you can do it for about $1,000. All you do is first you get yourself a machines package for, I don't know what the price is, like around $900 or something like that. I don't know, seven, whatever it is. Get a machines package. And then you decide how much food you want to have. You want to have food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, and then you order the food. And don't wait. When you get it, by the way, they are not behind shipping right now. My understanding is they're shipping within 2 days. It's not a guarantee, but most of you other people are out. They're shipping within 4 months. So they're shipping within 2 days at Joseph's Kitchen. But you get it, and immediately you start making bread, because there's a little bit of a learning curve to making bread. And essentially what we do at Joseph's Kitchen, they show you how to take wheat berries, put them into a grinder. 30 seconds later, you have flour. Put that along with 6 other ingredients like wheat and yeast and things like that into a bread machine. Push a button. 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice hot steaming loaf of wonderful tasting bread. I eat most of what I eat now is bread. And next thing I'd recommend you go to empshield.com, because when those suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computer to run, things like that, you better have some EMP protection. empshield.com. And if you use the promo code PROPHECY, they give you a $50 discount. And, of course, it helps your Prophecy Club. Now, this is the thing that, since we're talking about the dollar, this is the thing I really wanted to get to. There's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for you to have a loaf of bread. But probably when you're pulling up to get gas is probably not a good time to have a loaf of bread. That's a good time to have a silver coin or two. Depends on how much you got to get. Even if the credit card system is down, even if they say I'm not accepting dollars, you pull out a silver coin, I don't care who you are, where you are, you're going to be able to get gas. And you can keep them in your pocket. You don't have to give away a motorcycle or something like that for a tank of gas. And for that, we'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Say Prophecy Club when you call. Now, let me finish what I was saying here. Most important news says severe economic depression rises rapidly all over America as nearly half of the nation cuts back spending on food. Somebody asked the other day, and they said, okay, so in your opinion, what do you think is coming? I said, I think the biggest immediate threat we have with 31 prophecies pointing to suitcase nukes, that's number one. Number two has got to be the food crisis, because I need to count them up. It's either 14 or 16 different dreams and visions saying that there's about to be a food crisis. And I think a person needs to have at least 1 year's worth of food on hand with whatever the wherewithal it is to make that food. And I know a lot of these other places is, as I said, $9,000 or $10,000 of food. You still got to boil water, and then you pour it in. I mean, how long can a person eat macaroni and cheese? Okay, so bread is what Joseph and the Pharaoh fed the world with for 7 years. So it goes on to say extremely long lines are forming of food banks. If we listen to what is said, if we can just look, this is not a prophecy ministry. This is that's saying this. I mean, yes, he's a prophecy student, but this is news, and you can verify in a lot of places. Extremely long lines are forming at food banks all over the country. Job losses, layoffs are starting to spike. Countless small businesses are right on the brink of going under. A housing crash that could be even worse than what we saw in 2008 has already begun. Large numbers of Americans are actually moving into sheds in a desperate attempt to save money. This new economic downturn is still only in the very early stages of starting, and I agree with that. And it's happening all over the country, and people are struggling this much now in the early phases. What's going to be like when it's in full throw? Look, we haven't even seen that dollar fall from where it was down 30%. We have not seen that drop because what the prophecy said, it doesn't come down slowly, like where you could prepare. What the prophecies say, it happens like overnight. One guy saw that happen from Friday night to Monday, and another person put in his ATM card, and it was fine. Decided he needed to get more money, put in the ATM card again the second time. Now everything had fallen apart. It happens quickly. So you need to make preparations quickly. It goes on to say 45.3% of the Americans have had to cut back on their spending on groceries. 59.4% say they are now going to eat less as a result of the inflation. 48% say they're driving less. 45% said that they are postponing vacations. We've heard the phrase, I've never seen it like this. I remember talking to David, I'll just say it that way, to my friend David. I'll go and tell you. David Phillips, and works part-time with Prophecy Club. And this was about 4 years ago. And I said, I think these are the good old days. I think we are at the apex of human history right now. I think these are the best days humans will ever see. Well, boy, looking back now, that was exactly right on. Pantries across the U.S. stating record high demand and record low supply. Food, gas, housing, utilities, fixed income costs. And when these costs rise, workers are going to have to cut costs someplace. One of them is afraid, or the grocery store is afraid people are going to be coming into his grocery store and stealing Spam. So this is what he's done. He's locked cans of Spam into a plastic container to force them to buy it rather than just come in and steal it. Did you ever think you'd see that? There's more. Now let's talk about Russia. August 1, headline, Russia heralds unrivaled lightning supersonic missiles. We've talked about this before too. Russia's Navy now will soon be receiving hypersonic missiles that will allow it to strike enemies with lightning speed. We've talked about this. They can travel 9 times the speed of sound. It is able to respond with lightning speed to all those who decide to infringe on our sovereignty and freedom. Remember, the prophecy said that America would attack Russia first, causing Russia to launch a surprise nuclear attack on America, an all-out attack, and that Russia would actually say they attacked us first. So Russia's preparing for war. China's preparing for war. In America, oh, well, we're preparing for LGBTQ. We're making certain that the men can compete in the ladies' sports. I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That's talking about America. America is getting pretty close to that picture right now. It says this missile could reach 6,140 miles an hour with a range of up to 600 miles. Can carry nuclear warheads, and they can evade. He openly says you can't shoot it down. It can evade anything that's trying to shoot it down. You know what they're saying is? They're saying, America, we can take you out anytime we want to, and you can't do one thing about it. Can you imagine the bully on the school ground standing in front of you saying, I can take you out and you can't stop me? That's a pretty scary position, and Russia is openly saying that. His comments came after he signed a new naval doctrine that portrayed the United States as the biggest threat. In other words, we are ground zero. The crosshair is on America. Biggest threat to Moscow, and vowed to turn Russia into a great maritime power. I think she already is. I think the number one military on the planet is Russia, not because, the number one planet on, the number one military in the world is Israel. It's not because of Israel's strength, but because God has said, if the whole world comes down to attack Israel, they will not be victorious. Number 2, probably right now, is Russia. Called for comprehensive strengthening of Russia's geopolitical position. This is a map I just pulled off. This is where Russia has now taken over in parts of Ukraine. So Russia has expanded its territory, although I think it was really to remove a lot of the pedophiles, a lot of the filth in Ukraine. Headline, Ukraine strikes Russia territory with Himars. Okay, so where did Ukraine get Himar weapons? They got them from America's. So, in a way, we are attacking Russia already. This particular attack comes just after Ukraine used Himars, supplied by the United States, to strike a Russian POW camp to kill off Ukrainian Azov battalion prisoners. If Himars were used to hit the penal colony, and it is highly likely, then we attacked Russia. That's what they're saying. Russia has publicly and repeatedly warned that if U.S.-supplied Himars were used against Russian territory, Russia would declare the U.S. to be a combatant in Ukraine and launch military attacks against U.S. NATO targets. Well, Dmitry was told in 1984 the fall of America would start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with their internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in one day. In 1 hour, so great riches will come to naught. We're getting ever closer to that every day, my brothers and sisters. Every day. Next thing I recommend you do is go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. We had only been with them, 2 or 3 months, and I called their office one day. I said, this is Stan Johnson with Prophecy Club. Oh, my goodness, Prophecy Club. We love Prophecy Club people. I was shocked. She says, you're Prophecy Club people. We have people from all over call us. She said, but we love Prophecy Club people because they got their eyes open, their ears on. They know what's going on out there. We love Prophecy Club people. Send us Prophecy Club people. So if you think about getting gold or silver, here's the people to call. Just mention Prophecy Club. The Prophecy Club app is probably the simplest, easiest way to follow Prophecy Club that there is. If you want to get it, I'll explain how it works. Go to prophecyclub.com, and then if you're Apple, you click right here. If you're Android, you click right here, and this is what you'll see. If you're Android, it will look like this, and you download. You want to look for this symbol here. Download that and click Install. If you're Apple, you click, and it'll look like this. Then after you download the app, it will look like this. So here's the way you do it. Remember, you're going to download something that looks like this. So if you want to look at, say, 1 month, you click here. A past month or a past month, it downloads all of the apps or all of the programs. You click on one, it starts playing. You can either watch it or listen to it, your choice, either one. And if you get a phone call or something interrupts you, it pauses, and then after the phone call, it'll start again. Okay, so this is the loaf of bread that I made. That's my kitchen counter. I actually took that picture. This is another loaf of bread before we cut it. Off to the left, this is a picture in our warehouse. Each one of those bags is what you call a tote. It's a 4 foot by 4 foot bag, about 2,000 pounds of wheat in it, and we got lots of them. Here, I think I've got another picture. Yeah, there you go. Lots of them, and these are old pictures. We got more than that even now. See, each one of these right here, those are 50-pound bags. Those are all gone because this is actually a couple of months old picture. And all of it, like this empty space here, this empty space, that's all gone. Matter of fact, we're not even getting them in totes anymore. We're getting them in what they call pro boxes. And that's 2,500 pounds per pro box. It has a little hopper on the bottom. We put the 7-gallon pail below it, and we open the hopper, and we fill about 200 of those. Two guys fill about 200 pails in about 20 minutes through this little hopper. And they bring it in the truck with a hopper, handle it all with a forklift. So it had to become very efficient. All right, now let's talk about Joseph's Kitchen. What you want to do, go to Joseph's Kitchen, and you have to order yourself a machine package. In the machine package, if you can see, this right here is the grinder. It's called a mill. And then you put that along with the ingredients into the sake bread machine. Now, that's only the mechanicals. That's why we call it the machine package. Then you decide how much food you want. You want to have food 1 person 1 year, 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 6 people 1 year. Another thing, I do not recommend that you just put this all aside, that you just put it away and forget about it. I recommend as soon as you get it, you start making bread. There is a little bit of a learning curve to making bread. Now, having made about 80 loaves now, I've got to where, we're making some pretty fancy bread. I mean, it's really good. It's the primary thing that we eat around our house and all of that. But it'll cut your food costs. As a matter of fact, I think it's safe to say, if you start eating this bread immediately, the reduced food cost will pay for it. So, you want to get either 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, or 6 people 1 year. Then, if you're thinking that the electricity might go out, we have a solution for that right now, and it's our bread solar generator, and that's on a pre-order right now. If you go ahead and order it, I think you'll get it in 2 to 4 weeks. That's just a guess. I'm a little bit out of that loop. But I'd recommend go to Joseph's Kitchen, and this just shows you, yes, we got a lot of weight. We will send you to empshield.com. Now, this is the one that I'm going to put on my wife's car. And yes, I've been a little negligent. I should have already put it on there. But here's the way it works. So it's got 3 wires. Red wire goes on the red side of your battery. The black wire goes on the black side of your battery. And the green wire goes on your auto body. Then you just peel off here, peel this off the back, stick it someplace. I mean, clean it first, stick it someplace. Takes, even if you're not mechanically inclined, take you about 10 minutes to put this device on your car. And that way, when the EMP hits or something like that, or some kind of sunspot hits and nobody else's car starts, as several people have seen in their dreams and visions, hopefully yours will. Same thing can be had for your home. And if you have your computer or your bread machine plugged in to one that this is hooked up on your home, then the word on the street is that it protects it. If you'll go to empshield.com, and if you use the promo code PROPHECY, they give you a $50 discount for that. And my understanding is that if you don't have it, it fries every computer chip in your car, and your car is pretty much useless because they're not going to be able to. I mean, there's so many computer chips in your car, they won't be able to replace it. Just throw the car away. Same thing with your home. Refrigerators won't work. All your computers won't work. Anything that has a computer chip, fried, dead, and it's not coming back to life again. So it's well worth the investment to try to protect. Like the old saying says, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, they say. Let me refresh your memory. We covered this yesterday. In the Coverstone Dream, one of the headlines was entire communities poisoned through water supply. Okay, you get this? So the railroads and the trucks stop moving. There's no food. There's very little water. And then about that time, there's poison in the water all across the land. So he specifically was told boiling the water is not enough. Well, that kind of lines up with what Leslie was told back in 2011. She gave a prophecy. She said, something is going to be put in our water system. Many people will die and get sick. You need a good, reliable water filter. So guess what we did? Well, Prophecy Club, we went out and we bought a large supply of Berkey water filters. This is the water filter that's proven. It's what the missionaries use. You can take water from the gutter, from a mud puddle, pull it off your house. You can take water from just about any place. You pour it in the top of it like a big coffee pot, and out the bottom comes clean, purified water. Did you know the number one cause of death in the emergencies? Not fire, not bullets, not sickness. It is drinking contaminated water. The number one cause of death, drinking contaminated water, because we can only go about 3 minutes without air, but we can only go about 3 days without water. Now, about 30 days, those are the threes, 3, 3, 3. Okay, about 30 days without food. So I'm suggesting strongly that you listen to what I'm saying. If you'll go to this, guys, go right here. I can't say the word. Go right here. Look up this. Watch this. It's about 45 minutes long, but you don't have to watch it very long. What he's saying is that they are putting poison in the water. Now, this came out, I don't have the date for it, like 30 days ago. Yeah, I've been talking about this for at least 30 days. What I suggest you do is go to prophecyclub.com. You click right here under Berkeys, and then this pops up. All of these Berkeys are now in stock. And Joe at our office says, be sure to say currently. Because as soon as you say this, we get all kinds of orders coming in, and it might not be in stock more than a couple of days. Yes, we've already placed 2 more orders for Berkeys. So we're doing everything we can to get you Berkeys. Yes, there are other water filters, but a lot of those need pressure. Look, in an emergency, you don't have pressure. You're scooping it out of a mud puddle, putting it at the top of the Berkey, clean water comes out the bottom. Now, you can get extra filters. I recommend you have extra filters. You can get a smaller one, a medium one, a large one. Most of the people are getting the Imperial or the Crown. Imperial or Crown. I have this one right here. This one I like. It has 8 filters. It filters the water almost as fast as you can pour it in the top. It'll provide water for the whole neighborhood, just like you're going to have to start providing food for your whole neighborhood too. But then when they come up to you and say, how'd you know to have this water filter? How'd you know to have this extra food? Well, I'm a prophecy student, and I knew this was coming. What else do you know is coming? Well, I know you better accept Jesus. That's what I know. So what do? I suggest that you go to josephskitchen.com and get yourself enough food for at least 1 year. Go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, get yourself at least a handful of gold and a handful of silver, at least that much. Go to prophecyclub.com, slide to the bottom, and get signed up for Fast Track and Fast Gap. While you're there, there's some other things you probably want to look at. There's about to be a crisis in America, and it's no longer over the horizon. Oh yeah, well, someday the end time's it's no longer at the end of the block. I might even say it's no longer at the end of the driveway. It's at the front door. So it's time to act, my brothers and sisters. It's time to act. click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.